cut across to Jantar Mantar at this point. Those are the visuals coming in from Jantar Mantar. In fact, IOA Chief PT Usha is at Jantar Mantar at this point to meet the protesting wrestlers. Let's toss to Ishika, who is bringing us a ground report from Jantar Mantar.
Well, Radhika, this is in fact, the 11th day of the wrestlers' protest. And today, right now, let me tell you that the IOA president, the Indian Olympic Association president, PT Usha, has in fact come here just a while ago to meet the wrestlers here. Because remember, what the wrestlers have been demanding is that no points of them have been taken in the IOA meetings. They had also criticized PT Usha's remark, when she had said that there were many other ways rather than protesting at the Jantar Mantar. So right now, PT Usha has arrived here, and in fact, she is trying to pacify these protesting wrestlers and trying to, in fact, bring them to, bring it to a point that wrestlers decide to take back the protest. Because somewhere, in fact, it has been reflected in the WFI, the IOA, and in fact, the PT Usha's remark as well that the IOA is not happy. The wrestlers have come here at Jantar Mantar and they are not backing down here. So right now, PT Usha comes, she's trying to talk, and will get
right, Ishika, if you can take us through what exactly is happening there, take us through the visuals of PT Usha, in fact, interacting with the protesting wrestlers.
Well, yes, Radhika, I'll try to show you the visuals from here, but I'll just try to show you the visuals from here and we'll try to get you that in fact, PT Usha has come here and, trying to interact with, have been getting support from the political parties, and right now we can also leaders are also present here. All of these parties were saying that they are going to back the wrestlers till they decide to in fact come to a point. But right now we are also seeing that PT Usha has finally decided to come here and join the to come here to interact with the wrestlers here and to try to pacify them. So that is something very important, and we'll have to watch as to what happens after the meeting. What will be the wrestlers' strategy ahead? Over to you.
Certainly, we'll have to wait and see what the strategy ahead is. Of course, the matter will be heard before the Supreme Court tomorrow. But the breaking update we are getting is that PT Usha has joined, in fact, is visiting the protesting wrestlers. In fact, we had heard PT Usha earlier too. She had, in fact, condemned the protest by the wrestlers. She had said that they should have in fact, met her or the committee before going ahead and staging the protest in Jantar Mantar. Of course, now PT Usha meeting the protesting wrestlers at this point. These are the visuals from Jantar Mantar, where IOA Chief PT Usha arrived a few minutes ago to meet the protesting wrestlers. Remember, the wrestlers had been protesting over the last several days against Brij Bhushan Sharan over sexual harassment charges. Now, of course, Delhi police are filing FIRs. Now, the wrestlers are seeking his arrest, even as the court will be hearing the matter from tomorrow. PT Usha, IOA chief, at the protest site to meet the wrestling protesters in Delhi. Those are the visuals coming in from Jantar Mantar. PT Usha is meeting the protesting wrestlers at this point. In fact, she had earlier condemned the action by the protesting wrestlers, saying that they shouldn't stage a public protest of this kind and they could have come to the IOA or the committee with their complaints and grievances. Let's go back to Ishika Ishika, if you can take us through or show us around as to what is happening there, show us the interaction between PT Usha and the protesting wrestlers.
Radhika, let me first show you the visuals from the Jantar Mantar, where in fact, what we are seeing here, that PT Usha has arrived here with the other officials from the IOA, Indian Olympic Association, and right now also we are showing you the visuals as to how they are trying to interact here with the wrestlers trying to in fact, bring them at a point that, there is some kind of peace and, trying to pacify them, that they stop their protest at the Jantar Mantar, because remember that this is the 11th day of the wrestlers' protest, and the wrestlers continue to demand that until and unless Brij Bhushan Sharan Singh is put behind the bars, they are not going to stop with their protest. And we have also seen, Radhika, how in fact, the support for this protest is also growing from the political front, because we have seen, many parties, be it the Congress, be the Aam Aadmi Party. If you look here at the visuals, we are also showing you that some of the Aam Aadmi Party leaders here, like Reena Gupta and the other Aam Aadmi Party leaders, have also reached here to give their support to the wrestlers. So every day we are seeing, this very protest at Jantar Mantar is, getting new support, bigger support from the political parties and also from the big names in, in sports industry, both on field and on the social media. So definitely that had amped up the pressure on the IOA, on the sports ministry, and because of that, today PT Usha had in fact decided to come here to meet the protesting wrestlers herself. Right now we are showing you it's a very important meet, we can say, because only after that we'll get to know what will be the wrestlers' strategy ahead. Will the wrestlers be satisfied this time? Because remember, we had shown you when the wrestlers had started this protest 2.0, then also, some of the officials from the sports ministry had come here, but that time the wrestlers were not satisfied. So will the wrestlers be satisfied after today's meet? That remains to be the big question here, because only after we'll get to know, what will be their strategy ahead. Over to you.
Right, certainly, Ishika. Also, Ishika, PT Usha had made certain comments, a few days back, saying that these protests are not good for sports and so on, which did not go down well. It had created a controversy. Wrestlers felt let down by the comments made by PT Usha as well. We'll go to Ishika in just a bit.
PT Usha saying that she is herself a female athlete, an icon for India. How can she call the protest, something like an indiscipline? Today, now PT Usha has made a surprise entry here at Jantar Mantar. She's obviously talking to the wrestlers. Vijay Mohan showing you visuals of them sitting in that corner, talking to PT Usha. And one can only hope that this protest ends and there is some sort of a solution that is reached between the IOA president, PT Usha, and the protesting wrestlers.
All right, let's go back to Ishika. Ishika, as I was asking you before, wrestlers had felt let down by PT Usha's comments. She had said that wrestlers shouldn't be protesting. It's not good for the sports and so on. Perhaps there is a possibility that PT Usha may have come here to convince the wrestlers to end the stir, considering FIRs were registered against Brij Bhushan.
Well, yes, Radhika, when these wrestlers had began their protest, we saw, a comment that came from PT Usha was that, in fact, she termed it as an act of indiscipline. She then said that, there were other ways, to deliver their message rather than sitting on a protest here at Jantar Mantar. She said, she said that at that point of time that this is also bringing down the image of the country. Now, on that, the wrestlers had in fact hit back at PT Usha, saying that, they are just doing a peaceful protest and PT Usha should not have made that comment. That is what, we had seen there. So there was what we can say a lot of tension, between the wrestlers. But now what we are seeing here, this is the 11th day, Radhika. I'm repeating this again and again because we are seeing, that the wrestlers say they are not going to back down, which was in fact, again and again we have seen, many statements being made by the sports ministry, by the IOA, that they are trying to interact with the wrestlers, and wrestlers should have
have taken another method. But now when they saw that a lot of political support is getting to this protest, a lot of pressure was amping up on the IOA and the sports ministry, because of which today PT Usha has decided to come here at Jantar Mantar herself and to interact, to deliver the message to the wrestlers here, trying to pacify them. And we are showing you, these are the very important visuals. It's a very important day today, because it will be a very, it will be a question that will remain, that will the wrestlers be satisfied today? What will be the message that will be delivered by PT Usha? Will both of them, agree to one point, and will the wrestlers stop their protest after today? That remains a big question, because the IOA president herself has now come down here. Because remember, wrestlers have been alleging for a long time that the IOA and the other committees that have been formed, none of them, have put the wrestlers' point forward. That is what, the wrestlers have been alleging for a long time. So that is also one of the points that the wrestlers will be putting in front of PT Usha. So we'll have to wait and watch as to what will be her reply, and will she be able to pacify the wrestlers here? That remains another big question here. So, a lot of developments that are expected after this meet, because this meet remains to be most important here. Over to you.
Big development there, a very important meeting happening at the moment. Will PT Usha be able to convince the wrestlers to end the stir? That remains to be seen. But at the moment, of course, IOA chief PT Usha meeting the protesting wrestlers at Jantar Mantar. Let's go to more breaking updates. This is in connection to wrestlers' sexual harassment case update. Delhi police probe picks pace. In fact, cops have started recording statements of complainants. Delhi police recording statements of some of the wrestlers who alleged sexual harassment charges against Brij Bhushan Singh. We have Priyanka joining live with us. Priyanka, so this case is picking up pace. Police started probing, and some of the complainants, wrestlers, have in fact given their statements to the police as well. Take us through the details.
Yes, that's a major development which is coming out from this protest, which has been continuing since more than 2 weeks. This is the first information which is which is bringing on mirror now, that the Delhi police has recorded the statement of few of the witnesses, victims of this particular incident. What we have got to know, that the police official will be recording the statement of those event organizers, because the case pertains to the alleged sexual harassment which started in year 2012, and the last complaint was of 2022. There were 7 wrestlers who came and gave their complaint to the Delhi police regarding this alleged sexual harassment which happened with them, where Brij Bhushan Singh was made the main accused. So far, what we have got to know, that some of the victims have already recorded their statement before the Delhi police. On the other side, within a day or two, the Delhi police is expected to record statement of 3 more victims in this case. So moreover, it appears that apart from recording the statement of all those organizers who were present at those locations where this alleged case of harassment happened, the cops have also recorded the statement of the victims in this case.
All right, so cops have started recording statements of